Hello, hello everyone, and welcome to the Out of the Box Developer. Today we're going to be talking about the software development hiring process is broken. Actually, it is an affirmation or a question here. I think we were discussing this on our backstage, maybe, yeah. So I just want to welcome Chila, Danilo, and Pedro. Hey, all, how are you guys?
Fine. Hello, Hugo.
Yeah,
Good to,
doing good.
good to see you all. Yeah, and
Hello,
yeah,
hello.
I hope to have you all helping me with this discussion. I believe that many people in the software development industry have a lot to complain recently about the hiring process. I think it is a lot of challenges for many people. And if you are watching us, hearing us, yeah, please say hello here on the chat. We're gonna be and say also share with us from where you are. I see that Bruno just sent a message here. Uh, it's not broken. It is made to be like this. Oh, really?
Oh,
That's good. Yeah. So yeah, I think. What do you think about what is the problem with the hiring process nowadays? What do you think about that? I don't know if you have been recently some hiring process. Did you have see some different challenges from what was in the past, what is now? Can you share any thoughts regarding to that before we start debating about how it is now?
yeah. This is a very hard debate, right? Many people complain about it. This is what this is what we think. Why when we how to say how can we think it's broken if when we see lots of candidates trying to get one one just one vacancy, one opportunity, and
Opportunity.
we have lots of open opportunities that have no people that they say, oh, we can't find people someone to get this opportunity here. When we get this kind of situation, you say, oh, something's really wrong, right? How can it be? So yeah, I think it's something interesting to discuss.
I see that Douglas just joined us too. Hey Douglas, how are you, man?
Doing great, y'all. How are y'all doing? Am I coming through clearly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to be sure.
Yes.
Everybody's tired today, right? I
Well,
don't know if it's the Monday. Monday is hard to say.
it's a
Everybody looks
it,
tired.
it's a Monday. Well, let's see. Can I do anything to brighten myself up? Hold on a sec. I don't know. Okay. No, I don't have anything. I think it's my camera. It just looks really dark. So, uh,
No problem.
But
And,
that's but regarding to what we just started here discussing about the hiring process. At least what's the problem today though is if so and Pedro said something very interesting because we have lots of people trying to get a single opportunity, and also we have lots of opportunities that no, that can't be filled by anyone. And yeah, that's really odd thing, and that is from the point of view of the employee, right? Who want to employ people, and also we have the point of view from the people that is trying some opportunity, they are also complaining a lot about the way that people are that interviews are interview process are managed. At least the questions that they bring, they are lots of things that people feels it is not actually. I see a lot of memes, a lot of things that people ask a lot of things on their interview process, but the real job it's there nothing regarding to what they asked during the interview is also some complaints that I,
Yeah,
I hear a lot.
that's
Or
a
I see
good
a lot.
one. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah,
Did you say that Godzilla and Gorilla and
Yeah, this one.
Kong fighting and then they are two dinosaurs fighting the real job? Yeah, that's a really common image I see during in the internet. And if the audience have any interesting situation regarding to some interview process that you went into and you want to share here, I think it's a great also to have an idea. But yeah, those since
Find it.
you just joined it here, what are your thoughts regarding to what is broke? What we mean by broken in the hiring process? What do you have any special thought regarding to that? It is something specific that you feel it's broken. In general, it's broken. What do you have in mind here? What's your opinion about the current process?
well, I guess let me think a little bit, because the thing is, I get what Bruno is saying. See the comment from Bruno about it's not broken, it's made to be like this, right? And unfortunately, to a certain extent, I have to kind of agree with that. But I think that we can, I think it could be better. The problem is, um, who said that there was a bunch of people applying to one position, right? That was the thing that the key that we have to look at. Um, okay, let me rewind for a second. I think I'm starting to catch up here. Okay, basically the way that I feel is that a lot of times we could just have a conversation with a candidate, right? And we could piece together what they've been able to do. you know, Usually people who work in tech are very happy to talk about stuff that they've done. And just from that conversation, if you know how to listen actively, right? And not try to put your side of what you're thinking about what they're saying into it, you can get a whole lot out of them just by listening. And so, with the way that interviews are now, where a lot of them have a take home test, they're going to test you on things that you'll never, ever, ever use on the job. And then on top of that, they're going to have you come in for interviews where if they have you stand up at a whiteboard and solve problems, it's probably not at all how it's going to be once you get on the job. They're really not testing you on how well you're going to do the job. And so I guess that's kind of where I kind of stand on this issue, is that, to me, just have a talk with them, see what they can do, right? See what they talk about, and even press them a little bit, right? I'm not saying just have like a jolly, everyone laughs about war stories that they've been throughout their career. I'm saying, when they say I did this difficult thing, and ask them to talk about the thing they're the most proud of, the most difficult task they've ever had to complete. And when they talk about it, push them a little bit. What made you decide to go down that path at that point, and see what they come back with. And I guess if you want to experiment with, will they get defensive very quickly, you can throw a couple of things in there. It's just communication at that point. But here's the problem, and this is, I think, the thing that Bruno's pointing out, is that takes a lot of time, right? And that takes a lot of time from someone who could probably be writing code and providing more value, or doing something, anything else, providing more value to the company that they work for, other than having to interview. So a lot of what we're calling broken, it does feel broken, but it could also be seen as it has to be that way. Did you take the time to learn the secret handshake? If you didn't, then we're sorry. You know, the secret handshake being data structures and algorithms, right? If you don't go learn the secret handshake, then maybe you don't get in, unfortunately. But yeah, that's kind of that is actually where I stand, is that I think it's a bit broken. I have my own way of doing things, but I also have people that push at me and tell me that maybe the way that I would do my interviews isn't the best way to do them either, which is okay.
Yeah, I have been in such an interview, like you said, as someone that the interviewer wants to know about how you things you've done during your career, important things, difficult things, or something. Probably, in my case, the interview wanted to know much more about something that I did that is similar with the problem they had, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I get to that point, because I have already passed some steps to get there in this
Yeah.
point of the interview, right? I know, for example, that I have passed some steps that I didn't have to do because I have a reference, right? And I
Right.
haven't. And this is I think all the problem is here, right? And when we have when we have an open opportunity like LinkedIn, the open opportunity in LinkedIn, Bruno always likes to say that the open opportunity in LinkedIn is the opportunity that they couldn't they couldn't, how can I say, when people get the job,
They couldn't find someone to fill that.
and they couldn't find someone to fill that with inside information, with inside
Yeah.
reference, with internal conversations, with their own communities and whatever, right? Because the whole idea is a trust, right? I don't trust you, I don't know you. If someone know you, it's much easier, right? And
Yeah.
then we can have this kind of conversation like in the beginning. But if it's not, and then you open the job to the jungle, man. And then when when we open in LinkedIn, we have that opportunity to have thousands applications, like 2,000 applications. It's impossible to do this kind of interview when you get in this mode,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So you need to have the
But
filtering. And I mean, to be fair, usually by the time that they would get to me, especially where I'm working at now, they'd already been through some filtering of some sort by the time that they got here. So I guess that there is that difference where if you really do need to filter, and I mean, some of the filters are actually they kind of bother me a little bit. Like I was reading a LinkedIn post, and of course, I don't have it in my head. I didn't bookmark it, but it was talking about longevity at each job, which that's interesting. That's an interesting filter, that some people would filter out people that have spent maybe less than 3 years, that have a track record of spending less than 3 years with their employer. And I guess that my only response to that is that I'm sorry, but every time I've gone to a new job, it's meant like 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5 years worth of raises by making a switch. Why would I stay at one company for any more than maybe a couple of years if they're not gonna keep up that way? And that's just one thing right there. But then, of course, they're using it as a filter. Some people are, before you even get into talking to a recruiter at all, they'll look at it and go, oh yeah, you jumped too fast. There are people that it's so funny, because if I had stayed at one position for too long, then I wouldn't have all the experience I've got. I've been in so many different environments. I've been an A player everywhere that I go, right? So I learn everything about what they're doing. I understand the domain. I provide high impact work everywhere that I've gone. But you see that some people are even saying that longevity is kind of a thing. So I don't know. It seems like that people are kind of shooting in the dark, trying to figure out how to filter the right people into the point where they're talking to people, where you can have like a bunch of false positives or false negatives, actually, that you should pass up on them. But it is their metric, and that's what they use to keep from having to talk to 2,000 people.
Well, and you said something very interesting. So, as far as I could understand, the whole problem is because we try to scale out the way the companies try to actually hire someone, because, yeah, they have a lot of people. They want to filter out to get one person. And to do that, they need to find some automatic way to actually filter out people and then find the I can't say the perfect match, but someone to match their requirements, and then they will give this trust. They'll try to trust the person that will be capable to do whatever they need inside the company. So, is there any way to actually make it better? Maybe I understand that listening one by one, I think it's the best scenario. It's the ideal way to actually interview anyone. We do in where I work. I have to interview some people, and I have to do this one-on-one interview. But before getting there, yeah, we do some filtering, a very basic filtering. Oh, this the person is looking for something like that, and then we do go to talk one-on-one to have this to make it possible. I don't know if there is with all these AI things that we have been looking for these days. There is some way that we can scale out, or companies can scale their hiring process at the same time without losing so much quality on this process. Do you see any way to make that possible?
Well, remember that the AI side of things is only as good as the people that are giving it the rules, right? So, AI is basically going to have all the biases that the person who is trying to create the solution has. So if you tell the AI to not, people who jump jobs every 2 to 3 years, don't look at them, then it won't. It'll write them off the same way. Now, if someone's a little bit more, when they're writing that kind of solution, that they're thinking a little bit more out of the box, you could say, I tend to prefer to not look at these people, but if you think, AI, that there's a reason I should look at this person in particular because some other qualities are matching something that all the other people are not, then raise it to my attention. But then you really do have to have someone who's thinking very far ahead. They're playing chess, and they're thinking like the entire game out before they ever make a move. That kind of quality of thinking when they're putting together an AI solution like that. But I'm saying that the AI solutions, I think, are going to have the same rules built into them. It just won't be a human. It'll instantly look at 2,000 applicants and just give you top 5.
Yeah. That would be the straightforward way, right?
It's still gonna have all that weird stuff in there. Hey, don't look at people that change jobs in this period of time, and maybe look at maybe what, maybe the AI could sniff test the people looking for 25 years of React, that kind of
Okay.
thing, or 10 years of fast API experience. It can sniff test that and come back and say, hey, that job description doesn't actually exist. That you can't do this. That requirement doesn't work. We won't post that. Maybe the AI would actually be able to catch that kind of stuff. But I think that what you're going to find with AI is that I'm not sure it'll get better with AI at first, but what'll happen, and this is something that some things I don't think you can go this way with, but when people figure out what the metrics are, then they start working toward the metrics. That's actually why you see a lot of people who want to work on things that they think are going to be, are going to have a market, right? They want to work on something new that they think will have a market, or they want to work on technology that they think there'll be a market for, because they're always thinking, ahead. Like, can I build a resume that looks like it'll be acceptable to someone?
Yeah. Today we have SEO for CVs, SEO for LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have all this stuff today.
Right.
And actually, if you don't create your CV thinking of SEO today, or they have a name for that. I don't remember the acronym, but it's like the search system for recruiters. I don't remember the acronym. There is an acronym
Applicant
for
tracking
that.
system. Is it ATS? ATS.
Exactly, ATS. This one, application tracking system. So when you need to create your CV, thinking on this stuff. So
Yeah.
right. I when I talk to my mentees about this, we so using AI, because AI today can help lots of work for us, and to discover the skills to get you list all the skills you have, but you need to know what the skills the job you are applying for they are looking. So when you know this information, you need to put the ones you have, of course, right? And you need to put in a way that you can be filtering, not filter out, right? You need to be filtering, because you put the correct skills for the job, the applications you are applying. This is us gaining the system, right? That's why I think it's important when we discuss these things, we can see who you are trying to help here. We are trying to help the recruiter. We are trying to help the hiring manager, the guy who wants to hire someone. We are trying to help the candidate. These are three completely different stakeholders to this process.
Yeah.
When you want to scale up, you are saying, oh, candidates, you need to go to this huge and long process here, in time-consuming process. And then you increase scalability, because you put all the work in the candidate's long process to run. And then, okay, so we have a highly scalable process that we can take thousands of developers and choose 2 or 3. But you're not thinking about the candidate who are doing this kind of process. There are some companies today they already created this kind of process and long running time consuming process that currently developers here in Brazil don't want to try to use the system anymore. I don't want to say some names here, but if you look here in Brazil, the name of the recruiting system that is doing this, you ask, oh, this job is using that system, I will not go there anymore. Can you think that? Yeah, it's true. It's happening today, right? Okay. Let me just ask, call the guys from comments here. Andres is saying, hey, Andres. Andres is always with us here, so let's welcome Andres again. Hey, Andres, welcome. Please send your comments, man. And he's sending, right? Max is saying hello, Fox, and Andres is asking, is sending some comments as well. It seems I never find a job again. I just can't do all that stuff. Right? And it says you can do that, but only desperate applicants will get there. I probably is talking about the process, the long process, right?
Yeah. That's when you were talking about the big system. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless the company is really high profile. This is the point, right?
Aha.
This is a very, very important point. Oh, Andres say this was a reply to play and the scalable system. Yeah. Yeah, we got it, Andres. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the point, right? When you think about, oh, I want to enter Google, it's not only me, right? I want to enter, people say, NVIDIA. I want to enter Facebook, like big ones, right? These companies, they need this scalable stuff. Microsoft. Because there are plenty of people who want to enter there. Always. For each one of the opportunities they open. That they need that. But we're not talking about, we are not always talking about the big ones, right?
Right. I mean, even the smaller companies now, because the systems are so, basically they have automated what a lot of these recruiters will do. They basically automated the system, right? So we were talking about it, that you've got some systems now that use AI to look at people's profiles and look at their resume to see how much of a match they are. They're already filtering out, so they could do this at scale, even to see maybe who they'd want to potentially do cold outreach to. Talking about like trying to do a bit of cold outreach to a to a recruit, not to a recruiter, but to an actual candidate that they didn't even know that they, I don't even want a job, right? That's what recruiters get a lot of flack for that. But I think that the thing is, I guess that this conversation is going in an interesting direction, because the way that we're talking about things might be broken is that they're broken because of scale, right? There's just so many people looking right now that you have to have quick ways of filtering people out. You do the take-home test to filter people out. One, that either won't take the take-home test, or two, that bomb it, so they don't get through to the next stage. All of these tactics are actually in place to keep people from potentially getting through. And my only argument is that when you're using these kind of tactics to try to keep people from getting through, who are the ones that get through? Are you always, like, you put them through that test, you put them through DSA, you're not having any real conversations with them. You might have some at the tail end, but are you really getting top end people that always can write code every time you go through this process?
I think that was a question for us, Douglas.
Yeah, I mean, it's a discussion, right? So after everyone, after we go through all the different stages, and so let's say you have all these filters in place. Is it 100%? Do you always get the person you're looking for based on this filtration that you're doing, or do you still have problems? Probably because you didn't actually really put the time into doing some stuff in the beginning. You're missing people.
Yeah, but as I said in the beginning, we have a bunch of bunch of job opportunities that are not no people get the job, and we have a bunch of people trying to get opportunities, and we see this two is happening. If these two are not matching, something's wrong, right? That was we say. And when we try to put everything in scale, and you say, okay, I will put a lots of filtering here, and I will get only the people who went through all this funnel. Cool. And then we
Yeah.
get like two or three, and then you interview them, and you say, oh, I didn't like this guy, didn't like this guy, didn't like this guy, and you say, oh no, there is no good professionals
No
out
one's
there.
applying. No one's applying. We can't get anybody.
Yeah, I can't get anybody.
I can't find anybody. They're not out there.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what happened. And then you can say that, and then you can then this guy can say, "Oh, I tried. I used the most important, the most known recruit process out there. I use I don't know, LinkedIn. I open to everybody in the world, and I can't get anyone here."
Yeah.
And then you take a look at the process and you say, okay, it's impossible to pass. Or the one you want, the guy you want, doesn't want to take the time to go to this process, man.
That's right. That's right. And then you can't find anybody. So
Hey,
I
you
guess
can't find
really,
anybody.
yeah, I guess really the best advice out there that I can give on this whole thing, like how do you get around it? Like how do you get around this process? And we've touched on it already, which we know the process is trying to filter people out. We know that there's too many people for certain jobs that are applying. And I think it really goes for anything that you see on LinkedIn, right? So any job on LinkedIn is going to get a ton of people applying. They don't even qualify. You've got to filter them out. You know, you say you need 10 years of experience and someone out of college is applying, right? It's just not that does have to get filtered. You don't want to interview the intern, for the position that you really do need 10 years of experience in software development. So I mean, I do get that to a certain extent, but I guess the thing that kind of really stings a little bit, and I understand the filtering part, is that there have been a lot of jobs, right? There've been jobs I've applied to where I know I would be qualified to do it, and not even applied, even interviewed. I got into the interview, and the interview tanked. Although I've gotten to a point now where I've said that stung. It did then. Like I would go through an interview, and I'm like, I could totally do that job, and it'd be really cool to do the work. And then they would do something or ask some really crazy question, and it's like, how does that even pertain to what they're doing? But they just made a judgment on me that the rest of my experience makes no difference because of this one question in particular. And that's the thing that where I guess it is kind of broken in that sense, because you can't discount all the years of experience, and the fact that you sit in judgment, that someone sits in judgment of your skills also is a weird energy. It has a weird energy to it, because I have been in the room with people, and I know that that's what's going through their mind. Like, this person doesn't know this, this, and this, and this. How can they even say that they're a developer? That attitude does exist. And even now, being in my 40s, I think I'm starting to get to a point where maybe people think, ageism may even be a thing that's kicking in a bit. I guess the most important advice here is to have a really good network and have been nice to everyone that you have ever come in contact with, ever, no matter what their job is, because they may be the manager. The janitor may be the manager next time. That's the thing. You try to always, those videos on the internet that show the person being, totally obnoxious to the janitor, and that the janitor actually wound up being the CEO that was playing the role of a janitor. It absolutely is something that can happen to you. I don't know if it's going to be that drastic, but I think that there is a thing to that, and I've spent a very long time in my career when people have asked for help, I've helped them. I try to figure out what's going on with something, I've helped them, and I've done it, and I've been happy to do so. So there nowadays, usually when my best opportunities come around, it's not because I was looking through LinkedIn or put a profile up on hired.com, not a sponsor. And it's come through referral. It's come through my network where someone has said, hey, they call me up, hey Douglas, I've got this really big problem and I don't know anyone. I trust you to help me solve it, and would you come help me? Those are the calls that you want to get. And I would say that even at the more junior levels, you could still be that way, because I was always that way. If someone asked me for help in my first corporate job in the first year, that I was, full corporate salary position, benefits and everything, Douglas's first year of working that way, someone came up to me and asked me for help on something and asked me to explain a couple of concepts, and I explained it to them, and they came back to me and said, hey, you just got me a 50% raise with that explanation of delegates versus events in .NET. And I'm like, cool. I just realized I was way underpaid at a year in, because they were getting their first developer job making 50% more than I was actually. And but that was, that person still talks to me, still reaches out to me at different times. So you can make an impact, grow your network, and then people will think of you at random times.
Yeah. Well, let me get back to the comments again.
Yeah.
Andres says people won't go process at all. Well, it depends on the company. If they only go if they really want that, right?
Yeah.
But if not, if they already have a good job, man, and it's not the job of the dreams, they won't go. I am underemployed, and I just can't stand those funnels. It happens. It may be a good opportunity. It may be a better opportunity than you have today. But if you need to go all through this, sometimes people don't go. The comfort zone is some place that we only go if we have like sure, or if we're too very motivated to go out of the comfort zone, right? And sometimes you say underemployed. Of course, you can say, sometimes you can say, oh, I could try higher roles. I think I can handle higher roles. For example, I'm working. My current work is a work of a higher role, but I'm in my in my title is like a lower role. But and again, you need to be motivated to pass this, and sometimes is, of course, trying these funnels. Of course, this one it one way, and then we have what Bruno is saying. Bruno says something very very important here. Oh, Bruno say hiring is about trust. That's why the network is so important. And it completed. Even as a trainee, the best trainee jobs are indications from professors. Hugo has a good start about it. Go, Hugo, please.
Okay, since he mentioned my name here, and yeah, I think Bruno is referring to to the way I got employed. And yeah, when I talk with, I share with Bruno this story, and I believe that is really important to people. It was one thing actually that I would like to add here in the discussion, because I believe that the way that we do see hiring process and the way that we do position in hiring process, it will be very different depending on on your level of experience. If you're a junior level of experience, you have to look in at some points at some actions. If you are more experienced people, it might change a lot the way you have to prepare yourself, behave, and also look after. And yeah, in my case, when I was still a student in the university, I helped a lot my professors with projects by delivering, creating some product together. Also, I have no problem with the classes too. I demonstrated some domains with the things that I done. So I think that was very important. And I made out that without knowing about this hiring process at all. But now I see in the past, now I can see that how it helped me, because the person that connected me to the company that first hired me, it was my professor. He gave me the reference to, oh, here is a good Japanese student. He sleeps sometimes on the classes, but he's very good. And he referred me to the company CEO, because the company CEO also was a student from the same university, so made things work. And yeah, I think he would never, I would never connect to this person without my professor getting this making this connection for me. So what one way that is for, especially for people that thinks that during, if you are it's your first job, you don't have any connection that can actually give you some, bring some reputation for you. Your professor is the best person that he will know you during the classes. He can see how you actually are capable to solve problems. So he's the person that can actually, and he will have some connections. He will have the network that you don't have during the your college or your when you are trainee, when you're looking for a trainee program. So that's my short story long. So
Hey, so let's
go ahead.
talk about that for a second. So that's really interesting that you brought that up. Like who's your network before you actually have your first job? Well, here's the thing. So I know all of y'all know this, but and I don't want people to get tired of hearing me say this, but it gives me a very different perspective than most people. Being self-taught and getting into the field, just by sheer will and might, and never relenting on it. Um, it gives a little bit different perspective on that network. You can be creative in how you build that network. I think I've talked about this in the past, but my first job that I got, that wasn't corporate, by the way, it was hourly, and they got a really good deal on my hours. This was part of me trying to build that resume up to get in. Basically I was at a family party and I was talking to this person that was there. They weren't, I think maybe they were related by marriage. It wasn't like they were blood related to me, but I was just there talking, and he's like, "Hey man, what are you up to?" And I didn't know him, never talked to him before, and so we were just talking about stuff that I was doing and had done, and just by being someone who's friendly in crowds of people and could sit and talk to people, that actually led to my first, being able to go into it was a corporate environment, but I was more of an intern than anything. There was no official role for me. But I was able to go in and do things that no one with my level of education would have been able to go in and do, because I talked to them. I talked to this guy at the family event, and he was like, "Hey, you should come in and talk to my group and see if there's stuff you can do for us." And I came in and I worked for them for like 2 years. And I did all sorts of neat stuff. And I got to sit in corporate training that they were doing for like leadership and self-development work and all of this stuff. And I got to work on customizing their software. It was the place I wrote my first actual first product that people used. It was written in Visual Basic .NET. And on a beta of .NET, by the way. So this was really, really a long time ago, very long time ago. And so I would say that when you think you don't have the ability to create a network, part of it comes down to you got to put yourself in different positions. You got to put yourself in different situations. I think that we've maybe talked about this, but I don't know if I've said this on the podcast itself, but luck, I heard this from somewhere and I don't remember exactly where, but it probably is something that floats around the internet. But luck is like a bus, right? It's always coming up. It's always pulling up. But you have to be prepared to jump on it and go when it pulls up. Good news is it's always pulling up. And the way that you get opportunities to train or be ready for it is to put yourself in different places. I don't know if we have the time, but I won't go through how I got my first corporate gig. But that is, well, maybe I should go through that story, because I think that's kind of important from Hugo, talking about doing everything possible for for the professor and getting the recommendation for the professor. Mine's actually similar, but kind of cool because it's a different path. So let's talk about that for a second too. Y'all want to do that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So basically, we just talked about how I got my first position where I was being paid hourly, and it wasn't great. I was getting 20 hours a week, making $12 an hour, and they were getting a network run for them. I put a domain-based network together on Windows 2000. Running across their network, and I customized in their software and wrote software for them. Well, that was the first one, right? But then let's fast forward a little bit. Let's fast forward maybe about 3 years or so, maybe 4 years. But I'm sitting here going, I'm not getting anywhere beyond this. I'm still working. I'm piecemealing a resume together, but I'm not getting in front of anybody. I would call the recruiter up and they'd say, that sounds great, Douglas. You manage databases and stuff. Like, how big of a database did you manage? And I'm like, it's 25 megabytes. And then they hear them laughing, and they're like, oh, we'll let you know if anything comes up that you fit for. And then they'd hang the phone up, right? So I'd never hear from them. Well, I get down to this point where I'm like sitting in the depths of despair and questioning whether or not I should, am I just doing the wrong thing? Like, I don't think I'm ever going to get through. And somehow it occurred to me that I have to change things up. I can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. And I had not even gotten into like self-development books and stuff like that. Just something said it has to change. And so what I did is I went and signed up for this program that was supposed to give me a Visual Basic .NET WinForms certification after a 5-day course. $5,000 US in early $2,000, so like 2001 in that time frame, for 5 days. People complained about $13,000 for a 12-week boot camp, and but no, that was nothing. That's nothing compared to $5,000 for 5 days in dollars from the early 2000s. Okay, so my grandmother's like, you got scammed. It didn't, that's not going to do anything for you. I got a loan, and she was just so upset with me. But I get in there. I got 5 days to figure this out. and I just talk to everyone because I'm around enterprise software developers who are learning Visual Basic.net. I'm like, there's got to be something I'm going to figure out here. So I talk to all of them during any breaks that I've got. I talk to, during lunch, I was doing low carb. So I was eating my spinach salad, with some tuna fish on it with my account exec, the guy who sold me the course. He was sitting with me at lunch, and I would eat lunch and talk to him my entire lunch, break. And finally, about day 3, he looks at me and says, "Hey, Douglas, I got someone I need you to talk to. You need to meet somebody." So I get a call from this guy. By the way, his name's Doug. Hey, Doug, if you're out there and watching this, that'd be great. But he talks to me and he's like, "Douglas, you can talk and you can write code? There's no way that you don't have a job. I'm going to get you a job." All the other recruiters, "Hey man, we'll just call you back whenever we find something that matches you." Click. This guy, "I'm going to find you a job." Now, it's not a happy ending the next day. I don't get up and suddenly have a corporate position the next day. I'm still keeping up what I'm doing. I go and do the other work that I'm doing. I'm working at a newspaper, doing some tech work there. Or I'm working at an independent car lot doing some work. This is after the first job kind of went out. So I'm still piecemealing things together. But I talked to him every day for a year. Every day. "Hey, Doug, it's Douglas here. What's going on, man?" And he would tell me, "Hey, I'm sending your resume here. I'm waiting for a response from there." We would just talk, and he would pick up the phone every day to talk to me, and I would pick up the phone every day to call him. So after about a year, he picks the phone up and he says, "Hey, man, actually, I've sent your resume over, and I got a response back from this steel buildings company. They want to talk to you." I go in and talk to them. I talk to the hiring manager, tell him, basically everything I've been up to since I was 12, learning C++ at 12 and progressing through there. He's like, "Sounds good, man." They hired me the next day. But I wouldn't have gotten there if I had said, "Oh, this works beneath me," or if I had said that I'm just not. I just can't do it. Like, I'm never gonna get that job, so I'm not gonna do anything, right? I had to do whatever I had to do to try to build the resume. I had to talk to people. If I hadn't have spoken to anybody, if I had just sat in the corner the entire time that I paid for that $5,000 course, I would have never progressed. It would have been a waste of money. So, I mean, you really do have to talk to people, and you do have to do some things sometimes that work for $12 if you have to build that resume up, because the payday's coming. It's coming. That was the best investment I have ever made. That investment has paid so many thousands of percents over the years. I even had before my grandmother passed away, I talked to her about that. I'm like, "You do realize that that it all started with that one thing, and I paid it off, and it's all good. But it started off with that one place that we thought I was getting scammed at, and look at me now."
But that's really that's an interesting point, I think. Actually, of course, you had the course, but you didn't let the course do something for you. You have to go after things by yourself. That made that course valuable, right? Without that, yeah, probably you won't get all the opportunities. So yeah, that's a really good advice for people, especially because we're talking about the hiring process. I think many people that is going through hiring process, and they stop on the only they rely only on the process. Maybe we can find some way to create some network. I see many people that are friend of HR people that is hiring people that can actually connect you, that goes over the not just over the process, but it can actually really connect you to the person that is looking after, not just going to a new process. So I don't know if that's also a good thing to look after. What do you
I
think?
don't know. I don't know about the HR side of things because I mean the thing is that who you're trying to sell to is not necessarily HR. You
Mhm.
want to have someone that is beyond the HR gate, trying to get you to pull you through the HR process. You want them to you know to be making to roll the carpet out for you so you can walk right on past the HR, right into talking to them. And so I think that the real goal, and so this is the thing, and because I've been on the other side of this too. I'm saying go create a network, right? You go. People will say go to user group meetings and stuff like that. But if you go into a user, and this is where you have to carry yourself in a certain way. And I'm still working on how to describe this because I've met people, that they're looking for a job. Their energy says, I'm desperate. They're not there just to converse with you. And maybe I even put that energy off when I was doing stuff, but I don't believe so. I was just genuinely interested in what these people were saying. Um, and I don't believe I did it. I could have. I can't go. Some of these people I can't go back and ask. They're not around anymore. But um, I just want people to be careful that they don't walk in and make people think the only reason they're talking to them is because they think that you think that they have a job for you. That's the thing that you have to be careful about. You have to go in, ask questions in a way of just talking developer to developer. Just ask them what they're up to, ask them what they're doing, and they're going to tell you. You don't even have to get in there and tell them anything. Let them talk and talk and talk and talk. Let them talk. Let the person you're talking to do all the talking, and maybe interject some things here and there. But the thing is, if they think you're looking for a job, or if they think the only reason you want to talk to them is because you're looking for a job, it doesn't go the way that you want it to. And I never talked to anyone thinking they were going to get me a job. I just talked to people because I found it interesting.
Yeah, this is a very, very good advice. You say when people say when you go to events, we have TDC
Mm-hmm.
like right in the door here. TDC will be 5 to 7.
Future. Yeah.
Yeah, TDC Future 5 to 7 December, and what's good there? It talk to people, right? And that in this way, right? That of course you make sometimes you are talking to people, you discover that these people are needing people like to hire, right? But sometimes not. Sometimes you're just talking to people. Make yourself available. Show what you can offer to these people, right? And then they know, oh, this guy can help
They
me,
know.
or yeah, or if you help, if you actually help, like
Yeah.
in this case, if you go to and be a volunteer, or you gave a talk, or you give a talk, you're a speaker, or you're a coordinator that is helping to to work on to make the tracks work, and you are there, and then you people are seeing you working, you helping, you giving talks, you there, you discussing, you having fun. Sometimes having fun is very good. You go and take some beers with the people, man. This is the thing. This is the way we do networking,
Yep.
right? We know people, and then eventually when they need someone to say, oh, I remember oh, Pedro, I talked to Pedro in a word, and looks like he's a good match for this thing. And then
Yeah.
we get access to the jobs that Bruno's always like to say to us, that the jobs that are open in LinkedIn, there are the jobs that is like 10% of the job, 20% of the jobs, because the 80% of the openings are already filled with people that get referred to them, right? Because hiring is about trust, and then someone they trust refer someone they trust, and they go there. And people here in Brazil likes to use the word KY, like KE, here in Brazil, who refers, right? Quem indica in Portuguese. But we this is they say these words with some kind of sarcasm, because many people doesn't feel like doing network is a good thing. They feel like cheating, you know.
Hmm.
And it's
It's
not.
no.
Networking is just the way we humans do the jobs, right?
We're
We know
social
each other,
creatures.
we talk to each other, we are social
Yeah,
creatures. That's the point.
that's right. That's right. We are. We are. Even when you don't think you are, you still kind of are. It's just you haven't. Because I used to be, you know, it, there's been a lot of growth from me over the years. But I mean, even I always wanted to talk to people, right? It's just sometimes maybe it was a little bit awkward, you know. But you gotta grow up. Like you grow through the years and go make some mistakes and say the wrong things and have people around to help support you when you do say the wrong things and you get in trouble a little bit, right? But the thing is that it really does come down to the network that you have put together. And I, like I said, this, you want to hear something really cool? It doesn't just work in software development. So I went to an event about a week ago, uh, you know, and you sit down next to people, and these were all business owners that were in different stages. Some already, were making lots of money, and some were just trying to figure out how to get started. And you sit and talk to them. I mean, hey, I'm Douglas, and then they say, hey, I'm so and so, and then, you know, what is your goal for, what are you trying to get out of coming to the event, that we're at? And you talk about that, and you really get to know a lot about why someone's there. It's just you change your questions, right? You're like, what are you working on? What kind of stuff are you working on? You know, and I actually learned something from that. It may be better at any event to go, hey, what's your goal from, what are you trying to get out of this event? You know, and ask it in a nice way, of course. But, in essence, what you're trying to say is that hey, we're going to talk about this and this today. What do what do you expect to get out of it? What's your goal? And give you a chance to have a way to talk to them about what they're trying to accomplish by being at the event. And of course, you're going to run into some people who just outright say, I'm trying to find work, and I'm trying to network to find work. And that's okay. Like, if they say that, that's actually fine. They were being honest with you, and that's what they're doing. And you could even sit there and have a chat about that a little bit, exchange LinkedIn information and stuff like that. But it was really cool to go to an event where there were, like, a bunch of people who were, doing way more business than I'm doing. And, and just have a chance to talk to them about what they were trying to accomplish by coming to the event that we went to. It was a way to use AI in marketing, right? It was actually a whole 3-day event on marketing and sales using AI. It was really cool, and it just really taught me a lot about how to interact in that kind of crowd. So it works everywhere, y'all. We walked away. Bruno and I walked away with with a handful of people in a WhatsApp group, from that. So we permanently have people that we know now from that group that are actually way outside of our usual circles. So it really does come down to networking. It really does.
Well, we are hitting here 1 hour of talk already. Want to say hello to Wagner Hockey. he sent here a message. Hey, good evening, Wagner. And yeah, I think it's a good idea to actually wrap up some ideas. Can you can can we actually have summarize those tips for people that is uh, in the hiring process or trying to enter into the hiring process? Some important tips that we got here today. I know Douglas or Pedro, if you want to start, and Daniel and Chila also, if you want to contribute with that, with your thoughts, it would be awesome. I'll put Douglas in the stage here.
Hello, I was expecting to go first, but I guess I can. So in reality, what we talked about is that if you're trying to do what I guess in sales or in marketing, what they would call cold outreach, talk to companies that never have heard of you and no one in the company knows you and all of this stuff, that the hiring process is going to feel very broken because they're getting so, possibly a lot of people coming in through all the different channels that are open. They're going to try to filter out as many people as quickly as possible, and they think that the filters that they've got are only going to allow the people that are going to be better through, and we know that that's not always the fact, right? That was one thing that we talked about. But then it transitioned into kind of, well, if that's the case, what's the, hiring is about trust. And then we transitioned over to talking about the idea of, well, then you need to get to know people. You need to get to know, go change things up. If you ever feel stuck, change things up. And so you talked about your with the professor and doing all these high impact kind of things for high value assistance for the professor, and then you got the recommendation from your professor, and then I talked about the basically doing anything I could by talking to people around me, in different places, like the family event that I was at, and then later on when I took that course that was, people thought I was crazy for putting that kind of money out for taking it because only companies paid for that kind of money for people to go in. That was kind of the thing. So we talked about that, really getting out there, talking, changing things up, networking, just doing things to try to help build up the resume, being nice to people, are ways that we can perhaps circumnavigate those filters and get through, and maybe the hiring process isn't so broken.
Nice. And you, Pedro, do you want to say something, to add something here?
Sharing, no.
I think your connection went.
Hello,
I think you're back now. Yeah.
I'm asking if you're sharing books already.
Yes. Yes. We can already
What?
share books here.
I didn't know we were doing that yet. Okay, but I don't have one. Go ahead, Pedro.
No, sorry, just asking. No, well, I'd like to share my ebook here of tips to start with international career, developer career. This is an ebook with some tips, discussions about interviews, about improving English, and many stuff. So and it's free so you can just download it, and of course all these discussions I like to have with my group here as well. So and if you download the book, I have my newsletter, the international career newsletter. We are talking about this stuff once a week at least. So that's the idea here, and then we can continue discussing about this this about hiring, about get hired, about preparing yourself to that, and of course ways to step out the filtering out process or pass the HR, right, Douglas? So we have we go through the place and be and get like that, Andres. We can Andrew's always is saying here that, oh, I don't want to get this funnel. Yeah, man, you don't need to enter these funnels, man. You can you can go right through the passing this first stages exactly by doing networking. There is no other way. And of course, make yourself more visible to people, and help people, because when help people, we are showing how we can help, how we can be valuable to the companies, how we can be valuable to people who needs what you know, right? So this is the most important way, the most important, no, the way to get and open the jobs that are not available in LinkedIn and or the job boards. That's the way we need to go through and show ourselves and get there.
Cool. Really cool. I see here Guilherme Carreira also sharing here very interesting thoughts and stories. Thanks for sharing, everyone. Being nice and supporting other folks. Growth is definitely a great approach. Yes, Guilherme. Thanks a lot for
Exactly.
watching too. And yeah, so anyone else? Danilo, Chila, do you want to add something?
No, today I don't have a book suggestion for you, but I agree with all the discussions we had today. So I guess it's a very tiring process going through the traditional interview process. You as a candidate need a lot of time for this, and it's a lot better approach what Douglas also emphasized, doing networking, talking to people, maybe talking to people before you need some help, so that you can have those connections, and even just having a talk with someone just to broaden your perspective or your point of view or how you are looking at things. So it's also, I think it's an interesting thing. And building trust before you are in the situation. Yes, I think that those are important things.
Cool. And you, Danilo, do you want to add something?
Oh, I also don't have a book for that, but I know that the Pedro's book is the best one. I have already read that, so it might be helpful for you. But one thing that people mention here and that I see a lot of value in it is about making relationship with people that you meeting on events, or even I don't know, maybe let's talk about open source words. If you're a committer or things like that, you can make some friends on this kind of communities. So making friends in communities might be helpful for this kind of approach.
Great. Yes, and I think in the last, I think it's important to say that make explicit that we are assuming network is really important and making relationship is really important, but also, but still assuming that you are able you you can do the things that it's needed to do, right? The technical stuff
Yeah.
have to be done. If you can't, it is the way that you have. It is something that you first have to address, and then if it is not enough to get into the hiring process, maybe not the network and knowing people. It is the way to actually go forward and have the opportunity. Sometimes people forget that. Oh, okay, I can let the technical stuff later and do my and worry only on network and no. Oh, reputation is actually you have to know, you have to have the knowledge or the capability to actually do the work, and then you have to have the network and the visibility for to show to have your skills accessible by and not none by others. So I think that's really
Yeah.
important to make clear here. Douglas, I think you want
Right,
to
yeah.
add something.
Well, no, you go. I was just going to say that is actually a really good point. We probably should talk about in our next episode, maybe even around, how do you what we call sharpen the saw, in the software development field, what maybe even talk about, purposeful practice and, what is the best way to spend your time? Is it really on leak code? That's kind of, that would be a great topic. I think that was a great ending thought, that you had on that. I want to put a bookmark here for like another episode. So I want to say something.
Okay, great. So I think I want to thanks everyone here, all the guests here that contributed to the discussion, and everyone that watched our session. I hope you enjoyed the session, and see you guys on the next session. So have a nice day. See you
Thanks,
all.
y'all.
See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.